So what I'm going to do now is talk you as best I can through the sleep system. Now I've got everything here. We'll first start with what I'll actually be lying in, and then I'll go over what I'll be lying on. So I've kind of laid it out in order. First thing I'll be getting into is this bag, okay? And this will sit inside this sleeping bag, which is an Outkit Arctic Dream 1200. I've spoke about this on the previous video before I talked about the tailoring, but now everything's done. So go for it completely. Vapor barrier liner. Purpose of this is to stop moisture seeping through into the down lofting of my sleeping bag. We are only going for about 5 nights. It may not be an issue, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I've made one of these for each of the team. It's just a plastic material that's completely watertight, and it's taped up down the sides with some Gorilla Tape. Pretty simple and easy to make, really, just tapered so it fits in the mummy shaped sleeping bag. So then I'll be in this, the main Arctic sleeping bag. This is a comfort rating of down to, let's tell me in here, I think. No, but I think it's down to minus 30-ish, there or thereabouts. So that'll be more than enough, I imagine, we hope. But if not, I do have this over bag. So this is what I was going to get. I was going to try and tailor it myself, but I kind of gave up and just took the 2 jungle sleeping bags to a sewing shop locally to me to get it sewed up. And all they've done is took a panel out of one and added it to another bag, which you can see here. And this should fit lovely over the top of my main bag, and it's kind of sacrificial. Okay, hopefully if any moisture does get into this, or the aim behind it is, if moisture gets pushed into my down lofting for any reason, the heat of my body is going to push it directly straight through, and it's going to sit in here. This is where condensation will build up. This will dry much better than a feather down sleeping bag. It's only synthetic, it's very thin, but I can imagine it's going to add around 5 to 10 degrees onto this sleeping bag. So I'm good for about minus 40, I think. And then finally, purely to stop any water getting in, so I just spoke about water coming through from my body, but any condensation from breathing in the tent, frost, getting to any of my bags, I'll be sleeping inside this bivvy bag, which I've just seam sealed, freshly out of the wash, which you can see, because this is an old army issue as well, and things like this do get well used, issued to multiple people, but I was the final person for this one, and it was a bit old, so why go and waste money buying something new if I can repair it myself? And that is what I did. We have a lot of wastage in this world already, so may as well use what we can as best as we can. So that is the stuff I will be sleeping in or laying inside. Next we'll go over what the stuff looks like that I'll be laying on top of. So what I'm going to be sleeping on top of. So first of all, it's just going to be a Z folding mat. Okay, this is a free 3FUL gear. Okay, pretty cheap to be honest, but that's the first layer of insulation that I'll be laying on top of. And if my air mattress does decide to deflate for any reason, at least I'm going to be on top of something to keep some warmth or stop the cold from the floor penetrating into me. And then next up is this Highlander R11 Nap Pack Arctic sleeping mat. So I was looking for a rated sleeping mat, and trying to find the highest one, of course, from where we're going. And I reached out to Highlander and asked if they wanted someone to test their new product. This is new out, and it wasn't to get anything free. I had to pay for these. Okay, we've all had to pay for them, but it was to give honest feedback. I really do prefer to use something and give my honest feedback, but we're just going to collaborate on media channels and hopefully help each other out. I guess that's what this is all about. Instead of it just being transactional, you give me something and I'll show it off. I'll actually give some honest feedback on how it worked and how it went. So this is going to be the first time I've opened it. So I'll just read a little bit from the label to give you some idea of how it's constructed. So it's an R rated, got an R value of 11, which is the highest you could ever find. I don't think I've found one higher than that. It's made of 3 layers, aluminium film insulation. It's easy to inflate, deflate and fine tune based on breathing. We'll see that in a second. Rolls and packs away nicely into this little stuff sack. Yeah, it's thick baffled, and the thickness of it is 10 centimetres once it's full, and the weight of it is 900 grams. I'm actually surprised of how small that goes, to be honest. Like, that is can almost go around one hand, which will tuck away nicely for our trick. I mean, they seem decent. They're a UK company, made in Scotland, and I'm looking forward to testing it. The length of this is 195 centimetres, and it's 65 centimetres in width. Yeah, they come in olive green, obviously I got that, and a blue colour. So let's have a look. Little repair pouches first of all. Let's just roll it out. So first impressions of this, material feels quite solid. Okay, you can hear all the foil inside, which I know is an issue with some mats, how noisy they can be when you're sleeping on them, but we'll see what it looks like. So which one is the inflate? So this one. So I'll fast forward this bit because you don't want to hear me breathing into this. So that didn't take too long, a little bit of light-headed there, but that's a nice inflation, I think. You can still hear the foil moving around, rustling around inside. So there's foil on the bottom, foil on the top, and there's a layer of foil in the middle of this system to keep as much and reflect as much heat into you and as much cold away from you whilst I'm sleeping on it. 10 centimetres is quite generous, but let's have a little lay down on it. You can hear it's a little bit rustly, but I mean, it's pretty comfortable, to be honest. Even on my sides. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I mean, there's always some complaints about moving and how rustly the material is inside because of the layers of insulation, but I'm going to have a balaclava on anyway, and potentially some earplugs. Don't know if my tent mate snores, and they're always quite useful to carry on expeditions, just so you get maximum sleep time, really. So that is my sleep system. I will be laying on top of, just to round it up, a foam mat, okay, Z folding, something that I can use in the future. A Highlander Natpack Arctic R11 sleeping mat, inflatable. Okay, and then I'll have my full sleep system. So vapor barrier liner first, Alpkit Arctic Dream 1200 main sleeping bag, overbag, 2 jungle sleeping bags modified so they fit me and everything else inside it, and then I'll finish off with a waterproof bivy bag to prevent any frost entering any of the bags. So hopefully I'm protected from moisture coming in, moisture coming out because of this, and we get a nice comfortable sleep on top of these mats. But I'll continue doing these videos. Please comment, ask any questions you want about this. I'll go through some of the kit I'll be wearing, the clothing and any specialist kit. If you liked it, let me know, it helps. And yeah, follow along the journey.